to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. It's time!
Back in your life this Sunday, November 1st, 2020. This is the Church of MMA podcast. My name is Tabor Cragen.
My name is Mason Knight. This is episode 44, Uriah Hall versus Anderson Silva recap. Then we jump into some MMA news, and then after that, we talk about the Santos versus Teixeira preview show. Tabor, where do we begin?
With our social media accounts, Mason, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, at the Church of MMA. Guys, we were posting funny memes. We were trying to make you laugh. We were posting clips of the show. So make sure you go and follow.
And you know what, Tabor, you run our social media pages, and I had not looked at our Instagram page in a while, and I got to have a shout out for you. I know we should do that at the end of the show, but I went to the Instagram page just to check it out. You do post some pretty damn funny MMA memes, so keep it up. Good work. You guys definitely go follow that. Instagram, because it's funny. It's pretty good, and you keep up with it too. It's consistent, and it looks great. So
yeah, a lot of effort into that. But Mason, we have to talk about the elephant in the room. Oh my goodness,
there's an elephant in the room.
I think so. With our YouTube channel, guys, if you haven't already, go subscribe. But I mean, it seems like everyone that watched that last Fight Companion full commentary for that Khabib Gaethje fight.
Yeah, we had 1,200 people watch our Fight Companion for the Khabib versus Gaethje fight, which was awesome.
Yeah.
And then our Khabib versus Gaethje, our clip, that was like a 10-minute clip. We had over 15,000 people watch that on YouTube.
Yeah, so amazing.
And it's
Thank you so
growing
much.
every single day. And thank you guys so much. We had over 100 comments. You guys are awesome. Like, it was just really cool to see. And we gained how many subscribers?
I think over 50 on just the one video. But I mean, just since last week we were at what, 160, 170? Yeah. And now we're breaking 260 as we speak.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we just hit 260.
So
before
crazy.
We got on air. So thank you guys. It's pretty awesome.
Awesome. Thank you. If you've already subscribed, thank you so much. More content on the way. Guys, we are posting clips every single day. So if you haven't subscribed, go and do it. All right, Mason. I say we get right into this recap show.
Let's do it.
Okay, Uriah Hall and Anderson Silva on Halloween night. Oh, and by the way, how was your Halloween? Did you do any trick-or-treating?
No, absolutely not. Did not go anywhere. I socially distanced right on my couch, and I actually just sat in, watched this fight card live, and I got to say, overall, I was very impressed with this card. So that's really all I did. I even watched some of the prelim fights, so it was a good time. How about you?
Yeah, well, how was the prelims? I didn't get to watch the prelim. Honestly, I tried. Yeah. I really tried, but ESPN Plus app.
There were a lot of great knockouts, a lot of great fights. Super entertaining. I mean, super entertaining. There was one, and I feel really bad that I forget. It slips my mind who it was, but literally one of the knockouts just bent the guy backwards. I was like, oh my God, that is just not good.
Damn.
Yeah, but great night of fights. Really, really great night of fights. One of the prelim fights, the Alexander Hernandez. Did you watch that?
Yes,
fight?
I did. Well, we picked that one.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Did he look phenomenal?
Yeah,
phenomenal. I was watching this. I'm like, he's putting on a clinic, man.
Oh, dude, he was fucking him up, man.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
It was. So that's what I did for Halloween. How about you? What'd you do?
I went to a party. I tried watching the fights. It didn't work out, but I had fun. I had fun. We got to do with this. We got to just start with this main event. Was this the main event that we all thought was going to happen? Kind of. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to be honest. I didn't really think it would be this boring. It was a pretty boring fight, in my opinion. I mean, there were times I was getting excited, and there was times Anderson even started to look good.
Yeah, for being 45, 46 years old, I thought Anderson Silva didn't look that bad. Now, the big question that sits, and we are talking about the elephant in the room. The man is 45. He's 46. I got to say, for being that old, he does look good. But is it time for him to retire?
Absolutely.
I would have to agree with Dana White. Absolutely, it is time for him to retire. It doesn't take anything away from his career. And I got to say, too, he did not look bad against Uriah Hall. Yes, you and Ken Dog had the same idea, saying that the fight was boring. I was actually very fascinated. It was a chest match to me because I knew Anderson Silva's chin is eventually going to go out. He's getting older, and, if he gets touched just right, and Uriah Hall's got power too, and I think Uriah Hall was just waiting for the shot to land on Anderson Silva. to KO him. And inevitably it did happen in the fourth round. I thought the second round was the round that was so incredibly boring because each guy threw 11 strikes?
Yes.
It was insane.
And, you said it. Uriah Hall was waiting. He
was
really waiting for that shot. And unfortunately, because of that, I'm not impressed by your performance. I'm sorry, bro. It's the truth. I was not impressed with that performance, Uriah. I really felt like if at any time he started to let his hands go, he would have fucking got the finish earlier. Easy as that.
So let me counter with this, okay? And let me kind of set this up for you. Uriah Hall, we have to keep something in mind here, which is the same way Israel Adesanya approached Anderson Silva just a few years ago. When you look at a guy like Israel Adesanya, who inevitably is the Anderson Silva 2.0, in a lot of people's minds for this new era, this new generation, we look at Uriah Hall, and he was initially supposed to be that guy. This fight was supposed to happen years ago, and if you have heard Uriah Hall throughout his entire career, Anderson Silva was the reason why he started mixed martial arts. He said he was his icon, the man that he looked up to. This was such a huge fight for Uriah Hall. I mean, even in the post-fight, and we'll get into that later, but, he even said, this was my title fight. This was such a huge deal to Uriah Hall.
So it was a mental barrier then.
It is a mental barrier, exactly. It's a mental barrier for Uriah Hall, too, because not only that, but he also respects Anderson Silva so much. And yes, at times, I thought the fight was slow and it didn't really, but man, when they were throwing combinations, there were exciting moments in this fight.
There was.
It wasn't the worst fight ever. And Anderson Silva, he left himself wide open when he did get KO'd or TKO, whatever. But I thought overall, Anderson Silva really didn't look that bad either. And I thought he looked dangerous at times. He was tagging Uriah Hall. I mean,
yes. I mean, there was time like that first round. There was times Uriah was really on his back foot trying to escape because he was getting hit. He was getting hit with clean shots. So it was an interesting first round. I mean, you gave that round to Anderson, and then it just kind of, as the fight was going on, I feel like I was saying this really with every Darren Till fight. I just wanted more.
Yeah.
It's like everyone's like waiting. We're playing this chess match games, and and I love Ben Askren for saying this. I know he's a wrestler, so it's like, what the fuck is he to say this about a striking matchup? But it's like sometimes, you need to go in there and you need to fucking fight.
Yeah.
And that's, if Uriah Hall would have done that, and Dana White even said after the fight, Uriah Hall is the most gun-shy fighter in all of UFC. That's what Dana White said. And if he let his hands go, I really thought he would have won that fight way more spectacular. Sooner. And and it would have been way better for his career because I really don't think he's going to have any momentum coming out of that fight.
No, and that's even what Dana White said to kind of clarify what Dana White was talking about, because they go, I forget what news media outlet asked him, does this catapult Uriah Hall's career? And he goes, well, hey. He goes, having Silva on your resume is unquestionably a great name to have on your resume, but as far as catapulting him, he goes, no.
Yeah.
He goes, absolutely not. This doesn't catapult Uriah Hall anywhere for a title fight. So, I mean, it doesn't hurt Uriah Hall because obviously at the end of the day, he did get the job done. And he did win. He did finish Anderson Silva, but it doesn't catapult him to the next level.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the post-fight. I really thought it was a beautiful moment.
Yes.
And these are the things in the sport that I love seeing as a fan, because that's all you and I are. That's all we've ever claimed to be. We're fans. We're not jiu-jitsu practitioners.
No, we're not
we don't have black
commentators.
belts. We're not commentators. We are fans. And that's what's unique about this podcast. So it comes from a fan's perspective entirely. But I loved it. I love the fact that Anderson Silva's last fight was from a guy who respected him and loved him as much as Uriah Hall did.
Yeah.
I mean, I had been listening to Uriah Hall since those Ultimate Fighter days of him just wanting to emulate his entire style in his career based on this Hall of Famer. Unquestionably Hall of Famer, one of the greatest to ever do it in the sport. And to have Anderson Silva lose to a guy like Uriah Hall, I really felt like it regardless of the fight and how it went down, it was a beautiful thing to kind of see that symbolism of the torch being passed and how much respect Uriah Hall and Anderson Silva had towards one another. I mean, Uriah Hall literally looked at him, hugged him, said, I am sorry. That's insane.
Mm-hmm. He was crying.
I mean, it's a beautiful thing.
He was crying.
He was crying, and he said, I love you, Anderson. I love you, giving him a hug, respectfully bowing. Those are the things I love to see. I love to see these guys because, I mean, at the end of the day, you're trying to take each other's heads off, but it's just a sport. Like, there's no malice. There's no, like, you love and respect each other, and I love to see it as a fan.
Yeah, it makes me extremely happy. Yeah. And, I mean, just the list of accomplishments that Anderson Silva had And you mentioned earlier the passing of the torch. I really felt like after that Israel Adesanya fight, it should have been that. That should have been his retirement fight. That was the true passing of the torch, especially because of the way Israel went on to resume his career afterwards, become the champ, defend his belt, become one of the best middleweights in the division right now. The best. And, we'll talk about it later, but he's going to have a really bright future. I can't wait to talk about that. Yeah. So it's a little sad to see Anderson Silva go out like this with a pretty vicious finish. I mean, he was getting blasted on the ground. He really was. I didn't like seeing that. And I'm just a huge Anderson Silva fan. I really wish he would have retired a few years ago. And I feel for Dana White because even he was saying in the post-fight press conference, man, I should have never let Anderson Silva walk in there. I should have never made that fight. And I can't help but agree a little. I
do agree, but he's in a very peculiar spot.
It's a legend. You can't tell a legend like that no.
You can't.
Especially when we're coming into it as this is it.
Yeah.
This is it.
Exactly. And you know what? 9 times out of 10, it's funny. You look at a 45, 46-year-old and you go, okay, they're past their prime. Get them the hell out of there. Mm-hmm. But there are those few instances in the sport where you go, you know what? It's not completely out of the realm of possibility. I mean, look at a guy like Randy Couture, 46 years old.
Yeah.
Still winning fights. Anderson Silva, yes, hasn't won a fight since Derek Brunson, which I believe was either 2016 or 17 off the top of my head. But look at the resume. Look who he was fighting. Jared Cannonier just had a number 1 title contention fight. Israel Adesanya, one of the most dominant champs in the UFC. Mm-hmm. Uriah Hall, but top 10 opponents. So like in staying, I mean, it was a competitive fight.
Yeah, well, I think he's still competitive in this top 15. So, I really do think he's matches up very well with some of these guys, but I just don't want to see it anymore,
Right, and that's what I'm saying. All I'm doing is kind of defending Dana in a way here and saying that, Dana, it wasn't egregious for you to put on this fight. I'm not mad at you as a UFC fan.
I'm not mad at him.
But I do agree also with Dana White that it is now time, Anderson Silva, to hang up the gloves. As much as we love watching you fight, as influential you've been to so many fighters and fans throughout your tremendous career in the UFC, there does come a time in every athlete's life, and I do believe that time is now.
Absolutely. The list of accomplishments speaks for itself. Without a doubt, one of the greatest fighters ever.
Absolutely.
And we have to go back. We should do a new video series or something like that with these retired legends.
I agree.
And just going back and looking at their old fights and talking about it. Because like the shit that Anderson Silva did in his career, the man was in the fucking Matrix. I mean, I know we say that a lot, but it's the truth.
Very much was.
He was so much better than everybody.
Well, I mean, even the Chris Lieben fight. I mean, you're talking about a guy at the time was undefeated, had an iron chin. No one could put the man away. No one. Anderson Silva goes out there in the first round.
Made it look easy.
Bop, bop. Are you kidding me or what? And then you just look like throughout Anderson Silva's career, the Chael Sonnen fights were insane. Anderson Silva's getting dominated for 4.5 rounds and he pulls out the triangle. I'll never forget watching that years ago and being like, how in the fuck did he do that? The Vitor Belfort front kick. And you're like, oh, he put that man on another planet. Forrest Griffin. I mean, literally shit himself in the octagon.
Literally embarrassed the man.
I mean, when we sit back and we look at Anderson Silva's career, you cannot say that this man is not one of the greatest of all time.
Absolutely.
And we are so blessed that we have a guy like this in the UFC for as long as we did. His 14-year career was incredible, and we will always love Anderson Silva.
Absolutely. Great ways to go out. So we did pick Uriah Hall, so we both got points for that. I took him second round KO.
And then I had him, what did I have him?
You had him decision, so that was a point. Yeah, that was a point there. But this fight, this was my fight of the night. Not only because I really like this kid, I'm a big fan, but it was just an amazing fight. Bryce Mitchell versus Andre Touchy-Feely. What a fucking fantastic fight this was.
What a resilient fighter Bryce Mitchell is.
Yeah.
I mean, just relentless with his takedowns, with his pace. Yeah. I mean, he looked really good. But hats off to Andre Philly, though.
Yes,
I mean, his
second
defense
round
looked great. The second round was awesome.
He looked phenomenal in the second round.
He did. I was very shocked to see that, both judges scored that fight 30-27 because, in my opinion, I thought it was a 29-28.
Absolutely.
But it is what it is. Nonetheless, as long as each judge gets 2 out of 3 rounds right, hopefully in theory the right fighter won. And the right fighter did win in this scenario.
Yeah, well, I think Thug Nasty deserves a new nickname, and that's Bryce Nurmagomedov. Dude,
Ooh, I don't know
he's
about
the
that.
American
That might be a little-
Nurmagomedov.
No, I don't know. He's not
I'm joking.
nearly as
I'm joking,
dominant
guys.
as
I'm joking.
Khabib.
But who said that? I think it was Benil Dariush called him that on Twitter or something like
That's
that. It was just
funny.
really funny.
But no, he looked. Bryce looked great, man. And
did.
we got to talk about it too. You know, he finally got those camo shorts.
Fucking camo shorts,
And they
dude.
dropped-
Everyone loves that one.
And they dropped that audio. I love that they dropped the audio of after Bryce Mitchell's last win. He runs up to the end of the cage where Dana was. He's like, I want my camo shorts. He goes, after that performance, you can have whatever you want, kid.
Hell yeah. And then they made it
awesome.
happen,
They
dude. I
did.
think there was one fighter ever in the Reebok's history that ever got custom shorts, and guess who that was? Conor fucking McGregor.
Oh, imagine that. Wow, Bryce Mitchell is in a very elite class then
Yes,
of
he
people who
is.
have actually got
Yes,
it.
he is.
And because I know Venom's listening to this podcast, unquestionably. But I'm telling you right now, on a serious note, as a fan of mixed martial arts and as someone who watches it religiously, if you start doing custom shorts, custom shirts, and you really focus on the designs, I will spend hundreds of dollars a year on your website to buy my favorite fighters' things. I think that was one of the biggest hangups with Reebok, is they didn't do anything unique or cool with all these different fighters. One of the beautiful things about mixed martial arts is you have athletes from literally around the world. And you have so many storylines, so many personalities. It's like, make these graphics, these t-shirts, these shorts unique to each individual fighter.
Yeah.
And so many fans, you will get so much more purchases on your website.
Yeah, could you imagine Sugar Sean having fucking tie-dye shorts?
Exactly. And just dude, the fighters don't get paid millions of dollars. You know, these guys. Give them a fucking cut, give them some commission because their name's on the t-shirt.
Yeah.
And like, let's have everyone make some money here. You know?
Yeah, who knows how that new Venom deal goes out.
Yeah,
with
hopefully
that.
it's better for the fighters.
Yeah, we will see. But, you know, Bryce Mitchell, we have to talk about his ground transitions, dude. And Andre Fili as well, because his defense was great. There was those reversals he was hitting. The scrambles were beautiful. Bryce is looking like an elite grappler in this division. I mean, is he good enough to just get catapulted into this top 10? I mean, Dana said himself that this is a fight. Fili's been on the edge of the top 15 for a very long time.
Yeah.
And this was the biggest test of Bryce Mitchell in his career. So, I mean, Dana said whoever wins this fight is probably has a top 10 fight. I mean,
Wow.
I say Bryce Mitchell versus Dan Ige, bro. I think that's the matchup. I think that's the matchup to make.
And I like that fight too. You know, Bryce Mitchell before Andre Fili was sitting at number 15. You know, obviously Andre Fili moving up, but was not ranked. So I like that fight. Dan Ige sitting here at what, 12 right now in the featherweight
like
division.
that.
I think that would be a great fight. I would really like to see that. I think that's a fight most fans would like to see.
Yeah, it's either
I'm on board.
It's either that or like Ryan Hall. I mean, that's fucking. Let's test his jiu-jitsu right off the bat.
Yeah.
That's throwing him to the fucking.
That's throwing him to
ground
the fucking wolves.
But I'd love to see it, dude. I mean, who came out and said Aljamain Sterling was talking about how Bryce Mitchell has got that freaky strength. Apparently, they used to train back in the day. This was
okay.
pre-nut drilling incident.
Right.
So, yeah, this was a while back, but he did train at Sarah BJJ. So, are we shocked that this ground game is so fucking good?
Nope, not
Dude,
at all.
He's looking fantastic, and he's.
Not if you're working with them. Matt Serra and them. Of course, your jiu-jitsu is going to be top notch.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully he gets out there and helps Aljo train for that camp, you know, and then get some good training in himself.
Yeah,
I mean,
that'd
he
be
said he
awesome.
probably wants to fight one more time this year. Let's make that Danny Gay, Ryan Hall, anybody, Sadiq Yusuf. There's a lot of names in this featherweight division for Bryce Mitchell to go up against. And he looks very well against them, I think. So, yeah, I took him. I took him second round sub. Didn't happen. Ended up being decision. So, 1 point for me.
Nice. I also had Bryce Mitchell.
Yeah.
Second round?
No, you had him decision. So
Oh, I
that's a
did.
full
3
points
point,
for you. Well done. Well done. This fight, Maurice Green and Greg Hardy. Greg Hardy. He's actually really impressing me every single time he steps into the octagon. I'm not going to lie. He's more calculated, but he still has that one knockout punch power, and everybody knows he has it, but yet he still finds a way to land every time, even against these very, very high-level kickboxers like Maurice Green was. So this was a great fight and a huge test for Greg Hardy, and I'm not going to lie, he passed it with flying fucking colors.
Yeah,
my
he
man.
did.
Yeah, he looked
really
fantastic.
looked good. You know, I do feel for Maurice Green a little bit because his career right now is a win one, lose one. And I remember after that Gian Vellante fight, he was like crying afterwards saying, I really needed this win to stay in the UFC.
Yeah.
Gets a guy like Greg Hardy. I want to ask you a question, Tabor, point blank. Did you think that fight was called too soon?
Probably,
the reason,
at the same time, I mean, he wasn't going anywhere. He was just going to eat more shots. I think it would have been stopped either way. So, I mean, yes, probably it was an early stoppage, but we've seen way more egregious this year, you know.
Yeah, and Dana White came out afterwards, said it was a fine stoppage. Maurice Green, immediately after the ref called it, was like, whoa, dude, I'm still here. I'm fine.
He was protesting it immediately.
You know, I think it is, as far as my opinion goes on it, I think it's one of those things, man. I mean, you're dealing with heavyweights. You're dealing with guys who have a lot of force. I mean, Greg Hardy was almost the very first heavyweight in UFC history not to make weight.
And he told Bisping he's walking around at 285.
Yeah, which is insane.
Fuck, you know, man, he's so big and he's thick.
Yeah.
He's thick.
He was a lot thicker in this fight, absolutely.
He looks like he needs to lose a little.
What I will say is, luckily, he had one more hour to make weight, and he didn't end up making that weight. But to go back to whether or not...
No, he made weight.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh,
he had one more... No, you're fine. He had one more hour to make weight, and then luckily he did make weight. But, I mean, initially, his first weigh-in, he was overweight. Yeah. So he had an hour to make weight. And, of course, I mean, if you can't lose 1 pound when you're 266 or 267 pounds...
I know, in the sauna, what the fuck?
Come on, man. But he definitely did. But as far as whether or not this fight was stopped too early, I think it is. It's a tough case. You know, It's a tough case to make either way. I thought the stoppage was fine overall. But, man, Greg Hardy looking real good. And where do we take Greg Hardy from here? I mean, is he ever going to get a top 15 guy?
Well, I mean, he did get that huge test with Volkov, and it was way too soon. It was way too soon. I mean, we got to remember, this guy just started fighting 2 years ago, made his pro MMA debut on the Contender Series.
Yeah.
You know, he had, I think 2 Contender Series fights before they signed him to the UFC. He was fucking 2 or 3-0 or something like that.
Here's the thing. I honestly... I think Greg Hardy, despite what you think about him, oh my God, people are still on that every fucking time the guy fights.
Apparently that showed back up right before this fight. It almost got canceled, I guess.
What?
They're saying the fight almost got canceled because of this. It was some sort of controversy, this girl came out.
Oh, another one?
Or I don't know if it was another one or the same one.
The same one.
They were kind of talking about it at the post-fight press conference, and I was listening to it, and I was just like, I just don't give a fuck.
Right.
I just don't care.
I'm just talking about him purely from an MMA standpoint, but I think he could take on a guy like Marcin Teixeira or a Blachowicz, Ivanov.
Yeah, that's a good fight.
I really think he could compete with either one of those guys. So
absolutely.
I'm all down. After this fight and this impressive win against Maurice Green, throw him to a top 15 guy.
Why not?
I'm not saying top 5, top 10, top 15. I think it's within the realm of possibility.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's just so athletic. And he's so fucking strong. It hits so hard. It really only takes one punch. I know he doesn't have the technique of a Volkov or a technique of even a Derek Lewis, but he's getting there. He's still so fresh. He's literally developing in our eyes, and I'm getting impressed with him every fight. So the future, I guess, is looking bright for Greg Hardy.
Yeah, I mean, 7-2. That's not a bad record, especially at heavyweight.
Yeah, not bad at all, especially when it's one punch KOs.
And you've been doing mixed martial arts for 3-4 years?
Yes.
Collectively, all together?
Yes, he just switched camps as well. I mean, he was doing to American Top Team, but you have to remember, so many people are at American Top Team. It's so hard to get that individual attention. Yeah. So he switched over to the Black Zillions. He got Rashad Evans in his corner.
Oh,
yeah. So, right. I mean, he's learning right under Rashad Evans and Dean Thomas. So, I mean, there's nobody better to really have in your corner.
No.
I mean, Dean Thomas, one of the best in the game. Rashad Evans, one of the best to ever do it. I mean, you can't learn from anyone better. He's in great hands. So, big ups on Greg Hardy for that. This next fight, we all know this wasn't a shitty stoppage.
No, it was not.
Dude, the man got taken out on a stretcher. Did you see that?
Yeah, that throw, and I'm dead serious. As it happened live, I said, oh, that's not good for his neck.
Oh, yeah.
I literally saw the way that he was such an awkward way he slammed him.
It was almost like a Von Flute choke with a slam.
Yeah, it was.
All that pressure on his neck.
Yeah, it was very awkward, and I go, that's not good. Immediately when he hit the ground, and let's just talk about the first toss, dude.
Yeah,
the first time he slammed him, I was like, you heard that. I mean, that's the kind of slam where you're like, oh fuck, is that guy okay? That slam was absolutely bonkers. It was so loud too when he hit the mat. I was like, oh fuck. Those are slams that could knock someone out.
Yeah, that was a scary one. That was a scary one. I think the only one that was a little bit scary, I mean, they didn't look that scary in real time. We were like, oh wait, what the fuck's going on? Did he tap? Oh, what's going on? When you watch the replay and then oh shit, that's all on the neck. Then it's a little more severe, but I really think probably the worst slam we've seen is by Rosen on the Unis one. Jesus.
Oh, for sure.
Right on the head. Right on the head and neck. Yeah, so the man got taken out in a stretcher with a neck brace on. So apparently he's doing much better, doesn't have any severe injuries. So
And that's
great to hear.
I'm so happy because like legitimately said a little prayer for the guy.
Yeah,
like,
it's that scary
really
situation.
Because it was scary, and I was like, man, I never want to see that in the sport. I mean, obviously, but
paralyzing.
I never want to see that, man.
And
especially
it's so easy. It could easily happen at any moment.
And especially to a guy like your whole income, everything depends on you being a fighter, and you're not making you're not guaranteed millions of dollars when you do get injured, like in the NFL or whatever. So I was like, man, I pray to God that this dude is okay. Like, please be with him. And he was okay. He felt all, his fingers, all of his extremities. He was able to move afterwards. So we do know it's not a severe injury or life-changing injury. So that's very good. But nonetheless, Kevin Holland was
we
phenomenal.
have to talk about Kevin, dude. Kevin, I mean, this is a guy, I swear we talk about him fucking once a month.
Well,
it's his fourth fight of the year. And he's fucking looking great. I mean, we have to remember he's lost twice in the UFC.
Yep.
Thiago Santos on like 2 days notice in a fucking 3-round war. Got his ass kicked for 3 rounds, essentially. Got taken down, smashed, was talking shit the whole time anyways. And that's when I fell in love with him. I was like, loudmouth.
He is a shit talker.
He's fucking awesome, dude. Yeah. When he was talking shit to Israel, I was like, yes, make this fucking fight happen. I wanted him and Hazmat to fight. That didn't end up happening. But I think Kevin Holland needs a big fight, dude. I mean, what's the win streak? 4-fight win streak?
Yeah. So let me just tell you his resume right now. All right. Yeah. He beat Anthony Hernandez May 16th of this year, right? August 8th. I don't know if you guys know who this is. Joaquin Buckley.
He fucking viciously KO'd him.
The craziest knockout of all time against Kanase, right? That guy. Yeah, no. He KO'd him. Yeah. And then his next fight, he takes on Darren Stewart, wins unanimously in a decision.
And a great fight.
And then he beats this Charlie Ontiveros. We got to get this guy. We got to get the ball rolling on Kevin Holland. He needs a top
15 opponent. He said he wants to fight someone with a name, and he needs that guy. He deserves it.
He deserves it 100%. Unquestionably.
I mean, he keeps taking short notice fights. Yeah. When you're taking short notice fights and your opponents are falling out and you're like, fuck it, I'll fight anybody. On 2 days notice, you're going to get these types of opponents.
Can I give you a name?
Yes.
Marvin Vettori.
Fucking perfect. That's who I Beautiful.
See. He's 14 right now. That fight would be so much fucking fun.
So much fun.
Can you imagine? Marvin Vettori, the hothead. I don't know if you guys remember the whole hotel thing.
Oh, yes.
Freaking out in the hotel. It's like, bro, put a lid on it. Relax, my guy. But, dude, imagine that against Kevin Holland, who's this shit talker. Oh, that's
a great fight. That's a main event of a fight night.
It definitely is.
I mean, that's maybe co-main. Like, let's be real. They're not big names yet.
And here's the thing, Dana, and I know.
I don't give a fuck.
Okay, first off, don't laugh at me, Dana White. But reward your fighters. Reward these guys, and I know you do, Dana. But reward these guys who fight 4 times within a year. Give this man a top 15 opponent. He deserves it. And you know what? He's getting on the radar of every single UFC fan out there right now. Kevin Holland is the real deal, folks, and I'm so excited for this guy.
Absolutely. He says he wants to fight someone at 170, but, maybe on short notice he can't make 170. So he's saying catch weight 175, 180 against someone from 170. I don't know. He's like Hazmat. He wants to fight in both divisions. If you're taking short notice fights, just do 185. Fight anybody. It's just anybody. He deserves a big fight.
Yeah, he absolutely does. And definitely running his mouth towards the middleweight champion of the world.
Yes, I love that.
Israel Adesanya. Izzy was there supporting his teammate who's fighting on the Contender Series this week. This week, not weekend. But nonetheless, running his mouth there. But I like it, I like it. I mean, is it a far stretch? Absolutely. Is Kevin Holland going to fight the champ anytime soon? No. But you're getting on the radar of every single UFC fan, and that's how you got to do it there.
Absolutely. So, that's how you get everyone's eyeballs on you. I love it. Yep. Like you said. Next fight, Bobby Green, Thiago Moises.
Okay, Thiago Moises looked great.
This was a very close fight.
Yes, it was a very close fight. I had Bobby Green winning 2-1.
Me too.
I had Bobby Green winning this fight. I really did. I was a little shocked.
The first round was so close.
It was.
That's the problem is who won the first round, in my opinion. I think you easily give the third to Moises just for the takedown and all that.
Yep.
Easily give the second to Green. It all comes down to that first. Every judge gave it to Moises. And the first time I watched it, I was like, okay, Moises. I mean, didn't he get a takedown? I'm pretty sure he did, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he got a takedown, so I guess you could give it to him for that. But I really thought Bobby Green was winning on the feet, and I thought he definitely significantly outstruck him by
Yeah,
the numbers.
that's a great point to make. I thought the combinations looked better on Bobby Green's side too, so I was very shocked. And then when you have all three judges score it the same way, you go, oh, okay, maybe I just didn't see that fight right. Do I think it was an egregious call?
No,
Am I pissed off? Am I like, are you fucking kidding me? No, I'm not. It was a close fight. I think either guy could have won it. Thiago Moises also looked great, but it does sadden me a little bit because Bobby Green was on such a fun little streak there. Kind of having a second resurgence in his career, but I don't think you take away too much from Bobby Green. I still think he's there. I think he's relevant.
Yeah,
and I'm excited to see him fight again, man.
Yeah, with such a close fight, his stock doesn't drop. You know, I mean, he's still relevant in this lightweight division. You put him up against any big name, top 15 or someone right on the cusp of that. Anybody, Drew Dober or someone like that.
Yeah,
and, you know,
for
Bobby
sure.
Green, it's going to be a great fight. Yeah, sucks. But Thiago Moises, he was very impressive, man. He was very, very impressive. He actually looked very good on the feet and very dominant on the ground, I would say. Looked very good on the ground. So he's a guy who I'm going to asterisk in this lightweight division. You know, I mean, I think he deserves a big fight. Maybe an Alexander Hernandez or someone like that.
Ooh,
you know,
okay.
I mean, maybe Hernandez has a number by his name after that.
I think so. He put on a clinic. Let's just jump into that one.
Yeah.
If we will. Alexander Hernandez. Wow. And let me tell you something, too. His demeanor, his attitude looked drastically and significantly different than the Alexander Hernandez that we saw get pieced up by Cowboy Cerrone, than the Alexander Hernandez, the cocky, arrogant, like, I'm better than everyone. It doesn't matter, motherfucker. You know, he looked calm. He looked like he was having fun out there, and it just looked like a completely different personality. And wow, he put on a clinic. I know he just recently moved camps too.
Yeah, to Mark Montoyo and Factory X in Denver.
Ooh, that's a great decision.
Yep, great one.
Great decision because, man, I don't think you could have put on a better fight than that as far as clinically on the feet. Like, I was blown away. I really was. Like, how drastically better and how much he improved in his stand-up game. So, dude, wow. Alexander Hernandez, very happy. Congratulations. That was a hell of a performance.
Yeah, I mean, people were really judging him. I mean, he won against Beneil Dariush in his UFC debut or something like that. And I just catapulted the man straight up into the top 15. Then he beat an Aubin Mercier who was on a streak, and he beat all these good guys. I think he's right back in the mix, bro. I think you have to put a number by his name. I think you have to maybe do a big fight for him, Drew Dober or someone like that. Anyone in the top 15. Who cares?
Well, I mean, hey, Cowboy Cerrone's 15. Let's get that rematch.
Let's give Cowboys 6 months.
Yeah. But man, dude, we got some fucking killers in the lightweight division. I mean, obviously the most stacked division in the UFC, but even number 13, Gregor Gillespie.
Oh, there you go. That's a great matchup.
That's a phenomenal matchup.
Hernandez and Gillespie.
Damn,
yeah, there you go.
To think that Gregor Gillespie is at 13, Islam Makhachev is at 12. I'm like, these are all murderers.
I guess it just got announced that Islam Makhachev is fighting RDA for a main event.
Yes,
very interesting in this lightweight division.
I like it.
Can't wait. Future's looking great. I think it's MMA news time.
Well, hold on one sec. I just want to talk about a couple more prelims real quick.
Oh, go for it.
The Adrian Yanez knockout, first round knockout against Victor Rodriguez. Shout out to you. That was an awesome KO. But I want to talk about this middleweight fight. Sean Strickland versus Jack Marshman. Hilarious. I don't know if you saw the clip. I watched this whole fight, and Sean Strickland was literally saying, like, why won't you go down? Dude, Jack Marshman might be one of the toughest motherfuckers in the UFC.
Every time he fights.
Sean Strickland was piecing him up. He must have hit him like 200 fucking times, man. And like, he just wouldn't go down. And even Sean Strickland's talking to him. He's like, come on, Jack, as he's like throwing these combinations. And he's like, just, why won't you fall down? Like, it was insane, but it was a lot of fun to watch. So I just had to give a little shout out to those guys. And then Miles John, obviously, with that fucking KO in the third round. Holy shit balls. Folded like a literal lawn chair. So shout out to all those guys. Yep, Miles John's in the bantamweight division.
I wish I could have watched the prelims, but
Yeah, the prelims were awesome.
The internet.
There were some great fights. So
it was
all
awful.
right, here we go.
Yeah, MMA news time, Mason. Let's do it. I mean, we got to talk about the biggest fucking thing. I mean, it just took over the news cycle.
Yes,
and
it did.
he was in the building. I mean, are we shocked that something came out with him? Israel Adesanya is apparently moving up to 205 to face Jan Blachowicz later this next year.
I love it. I love it. And, every single UFC fan is so bummed that Jon Jones decided to vacate that belt because this is the fight that, like, everyone wanted. Everyone wanted the Jon Jones versus Israel Adesanya. Mm-hmm. And let's talk about this. This is one of the most kind of craziest storylines I think that we've heard in the UFC as far as pure competitive sport. Robert Whittaker just recently got his win against Jared Cannonier. Very impressive win. He looked phenomenal and deserved as the number one contender in the middleweight division. I mean, am I wrong there?
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry. No, you're absolutely wrong. No, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. I mean, Dana said it. He was going to give him the fight.
Yeah.
He was going to give him the fight. He was saying, I need to convince Israel to take this Robert Whittaker rematch.
And one of the craziest headlines one of the storylines that I've heard is Robert really doesn't want that fight right now.
I mean, can you blame him?
No, I can't.
I don't think so.
And I don't think Robert Whittaker, Robert Whittaker's been and this is one thing that I love about the man, former champ, is that he's open and honest. He says, there's just a lot of pressure. He goes, I love to fight. I love to come out here. I love to compete. But, just the pressure of being the champion and all the shit that you have to do. He goes, it's not really my style. He says, now, do I want to be a champ again one day? Yeah, of course. But it's not something that I'm actively pursuing. I just want to compete at the highest level and just go out there and have fun. Essentially. But because of that, we now get the Jan Blachowicz, Israel Adesanya for the light heavyweight championship of the world. Are you kidding me or what? Dude,
it's insane. I mean, yeah, you just said it. We wanted Jon. We really did. Jon's somewhere right now crying, going, fuck.
No, he's still complaining about GOAT status.
Dude, yeah, he's still, we'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll get into that later.
Yeah, but, I mean, he's got to be pissed. Dude, because that was his golden goose, and now it's fucking gone. He moved up to heavyweight. He vacated the belt. Jon's going, fucking just spreading the love, man. He's about to be making it rain in Poland.
Can I say something here? This is just a conspiracy, an MMA conspiracy theory, okay? I think this is, Dana White plays 4D chess, okay? I think this is a 4D chess move where he goes, this is a big fuck you to Jon Jones.
It really
I really believe that he did this subliminally to show Jon Jones, hey, you don't want to take fights. You want to be an asshole. You make it hard to negotiate. Oh, yeah, you vacated your belt. Well, guess what? Here's the fight you could have had if you would have just done your fucking job and shut the fuck up and signed the contract. I really do. Whether it's right or wrong, right? I'm not getting on sides here as far as if Jon Jones was right or wrong, but I really feel like that's what Dana White did here. Mm-hmm. I do. And granted, Dana White had every excuse, every reason rather. And do I think Dana White is wrong for doing this? Absolutely not. I mean, this is the fight everyone wants to see. And Israel Adesanya has essentially wiped out the middleweight division. So, of course, why not? Have Izzy move up and fight Jan Blachowicz. I'm not opposed to it at all. It's the fight I want to see. But I really do feel in a lot of ways that this is a subliminal fuck you to Jon Jones. What do you think on that?
Well, I absolutely agree 100%. It really is a fuck you to Jon Jones. But, it's not like Jon Jones at any moment can just go, all right, well, fuck it. I'm going back to 205 and I'm going to get an immediate title shot, because that's exactly what's going to happen. No matter who wins that fight, Israel wins, Jan wins, we'll see what happens with the future of heavyweight. I mean, so many things are unknown. I mean, MMA news, I guess they were trying to make Stipe versus Francis 2 in March, apparently.
I don't see Stipe taking that fight.
I mean, that's 8 months?
Yeah.
I mean, it's 8 months since.
I like Stipe as a person. It's just kind of like as a fan, and as like a heavyweight division that's so like, you love to watch heavyweight title fights. It's so frustrating that we typically get one defense a year.
That's just the way the heavyweight division's always been.
I know. It's just, it's so irritating. And I'm telling you though, mark my words, when Francis Ngannou wins that heavyweight belt, he will fight at least twice a year.
Yeah, well, I mean, there won't be anybody for him to fight eventually, other than Jon Jones.
He'll KO all these guys. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But getting back on the whole Jon Jones, Israel Adesanya thing, I completely and 100% agree with you, Tabor. And unquestionably, if Jon Jones wants to go down to 205 and fight anyone who wins that belt, whether it be Jan Blachowicz, Israel Adesanya, or fucking Bugs Bunny, he deserves it. I'm 100%, serious.
Yeah, you're 100%.
Right. Like, he is the GOAT as far as as many title defenses as he's had, and he does make interesting arguments that we can talk about later on. So, of course, you're going to give Jon Jones that title fight, but, man, let's talk about this. let's not count out Jan Blachowicz, because after what he did to Dominic Reyes, this is no easy task for Izzy.
Anybody in the world that is no easy test. I mean, he's got the real Polish power. It's a fucking real thing, okay? Legendary Polish power.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really one punch and Israel goes to sleep. This is going to be the most technical chess match we've seen in a long time when it comes to this light heavyweight division. I mean, you could say this is going to be Jon Jones, Dominic Reyes level chess match. It's going to be a very good fight, and I can't wait. And Israel Adesanya, I mean, people sleep on his power as well. He could absolutely KO Jan, I feel like.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely he could KO Jan.
And man, just the fluidity. I've talked about this so many times. Like, I always bring up this quote, but I really feel like it applies to Israel Adesanya like no other fighter I've ever seen outside of an Anderson Silva in his prime. But a Bruce Lee quote, be like water. The fluidity of Israel Adesanya. Jan Blachowicz, say what you will about him, he's kind of an awkward striker, right? He's not
sneaky.
Yeah, he's sneaky. Oh, definitely. And he's got that Polish power. But Israel Adesanya flows like water, man. And I'm telling you, it's such an interesting matchup because the counter striker that Izzy is, I'm actually I'm serious, Tabor. This is the next best fight that we could possibly have for Israel Adesanya, other than Jon Jones. This
100%.
And we get to see, can Izzy hang with these 205ers?
Yes, a true 205er. The man's a fucking
Yeah.
heavyweight cutting to 205.
Yeah,
I mean, let's be real.
For
He's
sure.
a big boy. That
Very
legendary
big boy.
Polish power is fucking coming from cannons.
And again, I'm not sitting here saying Izzy can't. I'm just saying
Yeah.
let's see it because I cannot wait. Do I think Izzy can hang? Of fucking course I can. Izzy's one of the greatest fighters right now in the UFC, unquestionably. But dude, wow, what a fight this is going to be. I'm so excited for it.
Can't wait. Absolutely. So let's move on. I mean, we kind of mentioned it earlier. I think we'll come back to the Khabib thing. Let's go to the Jon Jones talking about Khabib. I mean, Khabib did retire, and a lot of people were talking about how he is the GOAT, at least in the lightweight division. But a lot of people are saying, is Khabib the greatest fighter of all time? And a lot of people did go, yes, you are the greatest fighter of all time. You were going out on top. And then a lot of people were comparing their records, Khabib and Jon Jones. And Jon Jones, the insecurity couldn't help itself but escape. And, he was not happy that people were saying Khabib was the GOAT.
Okay.
He was not happy.
Oh, this is so tricky for me. I'm going to look at this purely statistically and how we look at this, right? Just on paper. Look at now I think Jon Jones actually has a real legit case here. I'm not saying Khabib isn't the pound for pound greatest fighter of all time in a division that is so incredibly stacked. And not only that, but Khabib does this. He finishes every single guy. And as we brought up on the last podcast, he finishes them faster and faster throughout his career.
He's getting better and better.
He's getting better and better. There is nothing that you can look at. Khabib has had the perfect career as an MMA fighter, the perfect, literal perfect career. He has never had an illegal strike. He has never even had a foul in his UFC career. He has lost maybe 2 rounds, which is horse shit. He won that first round against Justin Gaethje. I will go on the record 100%. Saying that those judges fucked that up. So he may have lost 1 round in his entire career against some of the greatest fighters in one of the most stacked divisions, and he's got 4 title defenses. Okay, but then you look at a guy like Jon Jones, right? And Jon Jones has kind of fought in 2 eras in the UFC.
Yes.
When he won his belt, he has beaten guys like Lyoto Machida in his prime, Rashad Evans in his prime, Vitor Belfort, Chael Sonnen, Alexander Gustafsson, Rampage, Glover Teixeira, Daniel Cormier, not once but twice, who is pound for pound one of the greatest fighters to ever fight, right? Ovin St. Peru, Alexander Gustafsson, Santos, which
it was a close one.
Anthony Smith, again,
that was a stinker.
It was. His career is and Mauricio Shogun Rua. His career. I mean, what I'm trying to say.
I guess when you're comparing the records, I mean,
it's kind of the LeBron Michael Jordan debate where you go longevity versus what they were able to accomplish. I feel like Khabib is Michael Jordan, where it's like, oh my God, he was so dominant. How Michael Jordan was dominant in the 90s, right? Won 6 titles with the Bulls, 2 3-peats back to back. Are you fucking kidding me or what? But then you look at a guy like LeBron James. who has won championships throughout his long career in the NBA. So I look at like Jon Jones and I go, okay, well, he's had so many title defenses throughout his entire career that you really can't deny the guy. I mean, Jon Jones, as far as career-wise, yes, he had the illegal elbow, but I mean, let's be real. Hamill was on his way out anyway. It's an interesting argument.
Yeah, well, I think Jon Jones has as many title defense or as many title fight victories as Khabib did UFC fights.
Right.
So, I mean, that by itself, like, it's a hard argument to make, I really do think, for Khabib being, honestly, the greatest of all time, especially when you compare the talent levels. Like you said, Jon Jones transcended eras and was dominant through those eras. Absolutely dominant. So, but the biggest thing with the Jon Jones, in my opinion, when it comes to the GOAT debate is the asterisk of the steroid accusations.
Exactly. Well, not just accusations. He has been tested. He has tested positive.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like they're false positives.
No.
He tested positive multiple times.
Right.
He hit under the fucking octagon, admitted that he did it.
Well, and here's the thing.
Does that disqualify you?
I think in some ways, yes, it does.
I think it puts a lot of asterisks on those wins, especially in the early eras where, so many people have come out and said everyone was on roids back then.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I think it's just hard arguments to make for either guy.
It is. Again, but Habib didn't make a single mistake throughout his entire career.
Exactly.
Not a
He's
single
the
mistake.
perfect one.
He is the perfect
example. He did what Jon Jones wished he fucking could.
Yes. Exactly. And Jon Jones does. He has so many asterisks amongst his career. Obviously his troubles outside of the octagon. He's got his PED problems. He's got disqualification. Technically one loss on his record. There are so many things that you could point to for Jon Jones not being the pound for pound greatest number one fighter. Now, I really believe pound for pound and GOAT status are two different things. I know that doesn't make sense to a lot of people, but it is.
I think you're
pound
right.
for pound greatest fighter is Khabib Nurmagomedov. Unquestionably, he should be number one on the rankings. As far as GOAT, Jon Jones isn't done yet, guys.
Yeah.
Jon Jones isn't done.
Yeah,
and
his heavyweight phase hasn't even started.
Exactly. And before Jon went on his Twitter rampage, right after the fight, we did our episode 44, where I started and I was like, yeah, I agree with, before he went on his Twitter rampage, he was like, oh yeah, well, until I go up to heavyweight and win that belt, you can have number one. And I agree with that. I really do. But again, Jon Jones isn't done. If he were to go up to heavyweight and win that belt and then defend it 2 or 3 times, you cannot look at Jon Jones' career and say that he is not the GOAT. Because he would be. He won a belt in 2 divisions, and he never technically lost. He technically lost, but in everyone's eyes, he was undefeated. So again, it's a very tricky subject. I think Jon Jones is the greatest of all time, and I do agree with him. But pound for pound, best fighter as far as career-wise, it's Khabib Nurmagomedov. Period. That's where I stand.
I think I agree with you. Especially, think about it right now. Like, is Jon Jones still in his prime? I think so, but at the same time, I definitely think he's fallen off a little bit.
Yeah.
Either that or just the talent has risen to his level. Well, and it's probably a mixture of both. It really is.
It could be. The Thiago Santos close was very close. Excuse me.
Reyes,
Dominic
I thought beat him.
Was very close. Yeah, and I thought Thiago Santos beat him too, if I'm being honest. So, you look at that and you go, are they starting to catch up? Is he becoming close to that tail end of his career? We don't really know yet. We got to see how he does at heavyweight. But if Jon Jones goes up there and he wins the heavyweight championship of the world, how can you look at the man and not say he's greatest of all time after beating the double champ DC twice? Not once, but twice.
Yeah. Well, here's my closing thoughts on this GOAT debate. Jon Jones, as you said, is the greatest of all time. He will go down as the greatest MMA fighter of all time. I think Khabib is a very, very close second. But at the same time, and I'm speaking directly to Jon Jones when I say this, like, dude, you couldn't let Khabib have one night. Not even one. You couldn't let him have one night. Your fucking insecurity is just, everything has to be about you.
It goes back, yeah.
Everything has to be about him.
It goes back to his character. It is who Jon Jones is. He cannot help but to have the spotlight.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, John. Like, you never saw I'm serious. Like, you never see LeBron James or Michael Jordan constantly tweeting about how I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest. You let people debate that.
You let us do it for you because because your accomplishments speak for themselves.
Oh, well, exactly. And we're literally defending his record right now and saying that he is the GOAT. Despite all of his shit, let people do that. Let the people do that. You don't need to do that. It's such a bad look. I mean, imagine if Khabib Nurmagomedov was constantly trotting around going, I'm the greatest of all time. I'm the greatest of all time. It would take so much legitimacy away from him. And I feel like Jon Jones, like he just doesn't get it. He is such an egocentric maniac that it has to be about him nonstop 24/7. And it's like, dude, you don't have to make that argument, John. You don't. You're a bad motherfucker. Yeah. Everyone knows you are a bad motherfucker, dude. Like, period. End of discussion. So, like, for me, it's just like, come on, man. Have a little bit of humility. Let Khabib have his spot. I mean, dude, the guy has been through so much. He just lost his best friend, his mentor, his coach, and you can't help but interject yourself into the conversation. You're so fucking selfish.
I know, it drives me nuts.
It drives me nuts because it's like, John, we want to like you as a person. Like, I'd give Jon Jones fucking 30 chances. I swear to God, even after the mean shit he tweeted Dominic Reyes,
there's so much. I want to like you,
John.
This whole year, we've said it so many times.
I want to like you, but you're such a fucking asshole. Like, and I'm just like, I don't understand. I don't understand it. But again, if he doesn't care about society, if he doesn't care what people think about him,
it is what it is.
It gets people talking about him.
Yeah.
It gets the fans talking about him. Look at us.
It gets him.
We talk about him all the time.
It gets him trending on Twitter.
It's the same thing with fucking McNuggets, you know, where it's just like we talk about him all the time, even when he is an asshole, even when he punches an old man. So it's like this is the day and age that we are in, unfortunately. But yeah, John, let the people speak for you.
Yeah, we talked.
Your record speaks for itself.
Yeah, we talked enough shit about Jon Jones. We'll just skip this one.
All right.
But let's talk a little bit about McNuggets. So apparently McNuggets made a statement on, I think it was like Instagram or Twitter. This fight will be at 155. And Dana came out at the press conference and said that it's signed and done.
Well, this goes hand in hand to media outlets were asking him, is this for the lightweight championship of the world? He says no. As it sits right now, and I'm just bringing this up because it goes hand in hand, but Khabib Nurmagomedov, Dana White keeps coming out saying he was extremely emotional that night. His father always wanted him to go 30-0. He said he might talk to his mother. It's not a done deal or anything. Dana says it's not, but he has a feeling that Khabib Nurmagomedov will come back and fight for that 30-0. And here's the thing. 29-0 sounds wonderful, but man, what about
30-0 rounds a ride out?
And I'm telling you right now, I know, Dana, you're really hoping Conor McGregor wins this fight so you can set up that fucking Conor versus Khabib too. I don't want to see it. It's the exact same thing that's going to happen the first fight. Actually, you know what?
And that's why Khabib retired.
Exactly.
He said, I've choked them both out.
Exactly. And
I finished Poirier and I finished Conor. There's nothing for me there.
And it doesn't excite me. Yeah. And I think he dominates the person I'm about to bring up. I think Khabib dominates him. But it's a legacy fight at this point for 30-0. Give him GSP.
Well, that's the only fight, but here's the deal. Here's the deal. I think they're fucking it up because if they're not doing Dustin Poirier versus McGregor for a belt, I think they're fucking this up because the only fight Khabib is going to take in reality, I really think it's GSP or bust. He's done.
Yeah, that's what I agree with that.
I think it's GSP or he's done. And they're not doing that at 155. No. It's come out. Faraz Sahabi said it's not happening at 155. GSP said it's not happening at 155. Khabib wants this at 155. He just struggled cutting that weight this last weekend. So, I mean, let's do this at a catchweight 165 or even 170. No belt on the line. Let Khabib vacate. Let him retire and ride off on the sunset. Let this be a legendary fight card.
I agree because you know what?
It doesn't need a title next to it. No, I mean, the title helps. I get it. You know, the UFC is like, oh, it's got to be gold. There's got to be gold on the line. It helps sell for the casuals. But it's like, this is going to sell. Yeah. It's Khabib Nurmagomedov versus George
You do that
St.
in
Pierre.
Canada?
Do it anywhere.
Are you kidding me?
Anywhere.
Well, yeah, anywhere. But I mean, you do it in Canada?
It's going nuts, bro. They're going nuts in Canada.
Yeah.
Crazy. I think they need to do that. So, I mean, let dickface Conor fucking, just shitting on him. Let Conor fucking fight Dustin for the belt. He doesn't deserve it. He beat Cowboy at 170. He has one win in the entire division in lightweight. Fuck it. Let's just throw it in there. We all know that's what the UFC wants, so let's just do it. Okay, fuck it.
Yeah, I know that's what they want, but I actually am okay, and I'm actually grateful for the fact that they are giving Khabib a little bit of time because 30-0 sounds delicious to me. It is the dessert we have all been waiting for. And two, it's like I don't want to see Khabib Nurmagomedov retire.
Yeah.
I love watching Khabib fight. I love it. Despite what people were commenting on our YouTube channel saying none of us were Khabib fans. Apparently you guys didn't see my Khabib shirt in the Fight Companion. I'm a fucking huge Khabib fan. I've never not picked Khabib Nurmagomedov to win a fight.
They were shitting on me specifically because I was rooting. I mean, I was rooting for Justin. I was in on the hype train. I thought he was going to win.
Yeah, I didn't.
I was excited.
Think so, man. Khabib's just too dominant. But not to get on that. I do like this Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier, and I actually like it better for not a belt. I don't think Conor deserves for a shot at the title right now, and I don't really think Dustin does. I mean, Dustin has came back since UFC 242, unquestionably. He's been looking phenomenal. But
let's be real. I think if they were going to be the most deserving lightweight fight for a title, right now it's Justin Gaethje and it's Dustin Poirier.
It is Justin Gaethje without a shadow of a doubt. He was the last interim champ, and he lost to the most dominant lightweight champion the world has ever seen. Justin Gaethje deserves the next title shot, whatever that is, period. Period. As an MMA purist. There it is. So.
Yeah. I was going to say something about Khabib. I mean, this is it. I mean, I feel like I'm a conspiracy theorist right now with the strings everywhere to make sure shit lines up the way this fight can happen. But I'm holding out hope for this Khabib versus Tony fight. I am holding out fucking hope. If they're going to let Khabib keep the belt, let Tony fight Michael Chandler or anybody who gives a fuck, Beneil Dariush, Oliveira, get one fucking win and then make that fucking fight UFC. I don't care if it ends the world. I don't care if an asteroid comes down because of it. As long as we hear it's time before the explosion happens, I will die happy.
Well, and that's the fight. That's the fight. Like,
but it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But I held out hope.
It has literally been canceled 5 times.
I know.
Like, coronavirus got in the way of the fight that everyone has been waiting for forever. It is the most infuriating and frustrating thing as an MMA fan to see how many times that fight. And look, Khabib could very well go out there and beat Ferguson in the first or second round. I'm not saying he can't, but it's such an intriguing matchup. Yeah. It's such an intriguing matchup.
I still want to see it.
I mean, that 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu, that Tony Ferguson, like... Oh, my God, bro. That's just what I want to see. I want to see it so bad, and we may never get it. We probably won't get it, and it breaks my heart. Like, I'm not trying to be dramatic, but it really breaks my heart as an MMA fan.
I know. It just sucks.
I want to see it.
It just sucks. And I keep I swear to God, it keeps me up at night. I'm just thinking about ways this could still happen, but I just know it's never going to. It's just so sad. It is. This was optional, but you know what? Let's say it real quick to round out MMA news. It's relevant. You know, we all thought this Jorge versus Colby fight was going to be made.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about maybe they're waiting for this election to happen first before they make this, but... You know, Ben Askren was just speaking with Ariel Helwani the other day, and he says his take's a little different. He thinks George doesn't want this fight. He says if the only side that's holding this fight up, in his opinion, is the Jorge Masvidal camp. We have to remember these guys were former best friends, essentially.
They were,
Training partners, sparring partners. So that fight is essentially played out hundreds of times in the gym.
Yes, it has.
I think Jorge knows he probably loses that fight. Maybe that's what's holding this up. I mean, are we shocked?
No, I'm not shocked. I think, you know, if this fight were to take place, I would pick Colby Covington unquestionably. And I always have to preface this every time. I hate it. But whether or not you like Colby Covington or not, he's fucking an elite fighter, period. And I think he grinds Jorge Masvidal out. Jorge Masvidal is phenomenal on his feet. He really is. In the stand-up game, he's great. Puts together beautiful combinations. He's crisp, he's clean, he's fast, he's quick. But Colby Covington puts the pace on. He wears you out. He grinds on you. He wears on you. Holds you up against the fence, and then he'll take you down, and then you get back up, and he takes you down again. You get back up, he takes you down again, and he gives you a knee to the gut.
I used to say the same thing about Ben Askren, my guy.
Yeah? Well, that is true.
I said the same shit.
But man, I'm telling you right now, Colby Covington is a beast.
Yeah.
And I think Ben Askren is right here. I really do. I agree with Ben Askren 110%. I don't think Jorge Masvidal wants that fight, and I don't blame him.
Yeah, I think he wants a Nate Diaz rematch because he knows that's the most money he's getting right now.
It's the moneymaker, and it's the fight he could win again.
Oh, absolutely. It's a very easily winnable fight for him. I mean, I'm not going to say it's an easy fight for him because Nate Diaz is no easy fight for anybody.
No.
But it's a winnable fight for him.
Well, again, the best thing about that is Jorge Masvidal can lose that fight and then get an immediate rematch with Nate Diaz for the trilogy for the BMF belt.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's a money seller every time. Every time. All right, preview showtime, Mason. It's finally happening. How many weeks have we been waiting? How many times has this fight been stalled? I feel like it's almost a
few
Magomed.
times.
It's almost a Magomed and Kalaev Jan Kutalabas.
Yeah, situation for sure. But we are finally getting it. The Thiago Santos, Glover Teixeira, for the number one contender, I think. Right
I think
now
so
in this
too.
division.
But we just said fucking Israel's getting that title shot. So,
But again, these two are probably going to fight. It's probably going to be a war. They got to take some time off anyway.
yes,
So
yes,
and I'm fine with it. I believe this is Santos' first fight back since he's tearing both of his kneecaps. So,
yes, it is his first fight back.
and I like this matchup. Glover Teixeira has continued to surprise us, even at his old age. This is another guy that's past 40.
No, he's not.
Yeah,
He's like 37, dude.
No way. Are
Yeah.
you Man, he looks like an old fuck. I got to be honest.
He looks like an old man. He's like 37 years old. No joke. 36.
What?
I know. He looks like he's 300.
Wow. Thank you for the fact checker here. Because,
he's
I would have
definitely-
never.
He's definitely in his 30s.
He's 41.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's 41. Okay,
maybe I'm
I was
thinking
going
of
to say.
someone else.
No, Thiago Santos is 36.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I was going to say, no, Glover Teixeira is definitely past 40. There's no way
I
he's
thought
not.
he wasn't fucking.
Damn, I'm glad I checked that.
I mean, there's some dudes that just look grizzled, and then it turns out they're 27 years old.
And you're like,
what
man,
the
you put
fuck?
some miles on the tread, bro. But
For real.
Nonetheless, this he continues to surprise us. He continues to go out there and put on dominant performances. And man, to get a guy like Thiago Santos coming off that Jon Jones loss, this is the fight to make. I'm so excited. Tabor, how do you see this one shaking out?
Just scarily. I think it's just going to be a terrifying fight for both men. I mean, because Glover wants, let's be real. I mean, Glover's that grizzled vet who's willing to fucking go to war.
Exactly.
He's willing to go to war, and Santos wants to go to war. He's a brawler, man. That's what he wants to do. He wants to get in those firefights and knock you the fuck out. That Jimmy Manawa fight, I just get flashbacks every once in a while of just the crazy KO this man has done. Yeah. Jan Blachowicz KO'd him. Mm-hmm. I mean, he wins this fight. I mean, immediate title shot contender, really,
Absolutely.
right? I mean, either guy, I guess. This is a rough fight for Glover Teixeira. I mean, I said this last time he was fighting Anthony Smith, and God, he shocked me. So
dominated that fight.
It's an interesting matchup, dude.
Yeah,
it's really an interesting matchup, but I really do think Santos is just, I think he's just going to be the bigger, the stronger guy. I think he just has too much power. I don't see Glover Teixeira winning this fight, to be honest. I really don't, but I said that last time.
Yeah.
So am I going to be shocked if he fucking KOs Santos? I mean, a little bit. Yeah, I will be. I'm not going to lie. I will be. I would be.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to give you my pick, Mason. I'm going Santos, second round KO. I think Santos comes out looking for a vicious KO. I think he really wants to cement that he is the true number one contender in this division. He should have been the one in contention for that title shot with Jan Blachowicz and Dominic Reyes, in his opinion. I mean, he still thinks he won that Jon Jones fight, so he thinks of himself as the people's champ.
Yeah.
He's going to be very confident coming into this fight.
Well, and that is interesting. That's a great fact that you bring up because depending on who you ask, this very well could be the people's champ.
Yeah.
Of the light heavyweight division. Now, for me, in looking at this fight, I go, man, Thiago Santos, real close against Jon Jones, one of the greatest to ever do it, or the greatest, the GOAT. I mean, essentially, as far as longevity and everything. Glover Teixeira continues to surprise us. I didn't think he had a shot against Anthony Smith. I got to be honest with you. That was one of the most surprising fights in my life, and Glover looked phenomenal. And you cannot take that away from him. His resurgence is being 41 years old. He's such a resilient fighter. He never gives up. He never quits on himself. And say what you will about this fight, but my hat's off to him. Like, I really love Glover. I love the years that he's put into the UFC. I want to preface that because I jump into this and I just got to look at this on paper. And I go, Thiago Santos is scary. I think he's faster than Glover. I think he's stronger than Glover. And
Hits way harder, I think.
Exactly. And I think he hits way harder than Glover Teixeira. And as much as I love Glover Teixeira, and I think there are ways for Glover to win if you were to try to grind Santos out, maybe get him up on the fence, get a couple takedowns in, ground him out on the mats. I think there is a potential for him to win in the same formula that he did Anthony Smith. But I do not see that happening. I have to be honest here, folks. I see Thiago Santos going out there. Again, Glover Teixeira is 41 years old. Say what you will, but as age progresses, we just saw it with the Anderson Silva fight being 45. You get a little chinny, and Santos has just got too much power. I think he catches him early. I have Thiago Santos first round KO.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, man. It really is. I mean, we're going to see if Santos is really ready. I mean, fuck, to blow both your knees out. I mean,
he did take a significant amount of time.
What was it, over a year and like 4 months or something like that? 4 or 5 months?
It was UFC 241? It was international fight week in July.
It's been a very long time.
It's been a while.
I mean, expect Glover to attack those knees, to attack those legs right off the bat. So we will see if they hold up. I'm very interested in this fight. I can't wait for this main event. It's going to be a great main event.
Maybe it was 237. Anyway, it was one of those.
Yeah, something like that.
I was there at International Fight Week. It's irritating. I can't remember it. And then the fight got moved out of Vegas, and I was like, what the fuck? I flew in here for this fight, you bastards. But whatever. It is what
Fuckers.
it is.
All right. Andre Arlovsky, Tanner Boser for the co-main event.
Yeah.
So, is it the most exciting co-main event ever in the entire world? I don't think so. I'm going to be honest. I really don't. I mean, I like Andre Arlovsky, but he's one of these guys who's been fucking fighting forever. And another one of these guys that seems to get KO'd sometimes. And Tanner Boser is a big man. He's a big man with a lot of power, and he's not the most jacked heavyweight in the entire world. But you know what? Doesn't matter. You've seen dudes get KOs at 226 pounds, kind of chunky, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. When you're getting hit in the fucking chin with a 4-ounce glove, anyone can go to sleep, especially in this heavyweight division. This is a big test for Tanner Boser because Andre Arlovsky, as old he is and as grizzled of a vet as he is, he's still got it, man.
He's still got it. He's 2-2 in his last 4 fights.
Yeah,
he's still beating guys like Ben Rothwell.
And he's so technical, my man. I mean, he's just so fucking good on the feet. He could piece up anybody. It's just whether or not he gets caught with that big right that I think puts him to sleep. That's been his little bit of a kryptonite lately. So, I think this fight goes all 3 rounds. I'm not going to lie. I think this fight probably won't be the most entertaining fight ever. It probably will be a pretty entertaining first or second round. After that, it's probably, heavyweight fights. The longer they go, they tend to slow down. The
slower they go,
less and less output. So I'm going to go Tanner Boser, unanimous decision. I think he's going to find a way to make his cardio last a little bit longer than Arlovsky, and he's probably going to land the way bigger punches.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of those sentiments. I think Tanner Boser has, I think he's looked really good in his last couple fights. He's finishing guys. Andre Arlovsky, seasoned vet, as you brought up before, 41 years old though. And, he's definitely at the tail end of his career. Still can go out there, still can compete. He is a good striker. He's very technical. But again, Tanner Boser is just the younger, more powerful guy, in my opinion. I think he's going to catch him in the second round. I have Tanner Boser, second round KO.
Alrighty. Ronnie Barcelos. I have no idea if I pronounced that right. Versus Khalid Taha. Both of these guys are... I think Ronnie Barcelos has like 4 fights in the UFC, but this is a name that I'm not familiar with either one of these guys. But when I look up Ronnie's record, he's on a bit of a streak, man. He is viciously KOing guys too, so he's a very good up-and-coming prospect, this 135-pound division. Khalid Taha is about the same. This is an interesting fight, man. I'm going to go with Barcelos' first-round KO. This guy seems to be an absolute savage on the feet. Yeah. So.
And Barcelos, just beat Saeed Nurmagomedov too by decision not too long ago, February of 2019. He's had a little bit of a layoff here. But I'm going to have to agree with that too. I also have Barcelos second round submission.
Alrighty. This is a good fight right here.
Yes,
Ian Heinisch versus Brendan Allen. Brendan Allen coming off that Kyle Dawkins fucking war. Wow. What a great fight that was.
Awesome fight. Phenomenal.
It was an absolute war. The guys fucking both went out on their shield, and Brendan Allen was beating his ass there for a better part of the fight. Absolutely won it. Ian Heinisch is a big test for him. Ian Heinisch was in that top 15, was beating top guys, hit into that little bit of a roadblock, but you know what? He's making a pretty good resurgence since
into that
then.
Wall called Derek Brunson and Amari Akhmedov.
Yeah, I mean, the brick wall of Amari Akhmedov. Jesus.
Came back and knocked out Gerald Meerschaert, though, in the first round in his last fight. So
yes, and was very happy for that. I mean, I think this is a great matchup, dude. This is a rough fight for both men, I feel like, because Brendan Allen's very good on the feet and the ground. Ian Heinisch, a little bit better on the ground than I would say Allen, but he's very good on the feet as well. He's got great knockout power. Man, this is a hard fight. I think I'm going to change my pick. I'm going Ian Heinisch, unanimous decision.
Wow.
I was going with Allen at first because I think he's going to be a little bit of the fresher, the younger fighter, might even have a little bit of that strength advantage, but Ian Heinisch is just fucking sneaky good, dude. Like, he doesn't do anything that really excites you. Like, he's not a fighter you go, holy shit, that was so spectacular, but he's just so fucking good. Like, he's just so well-rounded, you just can't count him out in any of these fights.
Well, for me, as you brought up for everything with Ian Heinisch, I completely agree with you. But Brendan Allen, I look at his resume and the guy he's beaten over the last year and a half, and one name stands out to me. We just had so much high praise for this individual just a short half an hour, 45 minutes ago, and that is submitting Kevin Holland in the second round at UFC on ESPN 6, Reyes versus Weidman. And then to move on, he's beaten Tom Breeze, which just fought not too long ago, looked phenomenal, KO'd him in the first round. And then that fight against Kyle Dawkins, man. I'm believing in the hype train of Brendan Allen. This kid is only 24 years old, and he looks phenomenal. And I'm on the hype train, man. I got to be honest. I got to go here. Third round TKO, Allen.
Alrighty. And here's the fight that we're opening up the main card with. And I really do think this should have been the co-main event, in my opinion.
I agree
This
with
is
that.
a great fucking
Or even
fight.
that Brendan Allen, Ian Heinisch fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
That could have been a great co-main.
Yeah, no disrespect to Andre, but Claudia Gadelha versus Jan Zaunon. Asterisk this fight, everybody, because this is a must-watch one, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know how I love me some straw weights. I fucking love me some straw weights.
And I got to say, you're the resident expert on women fighting on this podcast too, man, because you can pull up names anywhere, everywhere, and I'm like, wow. Even for me, sometimes that's a little hard. So I know you're really excited about this fight, dude.
I love that. I mean, let's be real. I love the strawweight division. It's my favorite women's division in the UFC. It's the most stacked women's division in the UFC. It's the most developed one. It's the most high level of striking. Claudia Gadelha is very fucking good on the feet and the ground. And Jan Zaunon, a great up-and-coming Chinese kickboxer,
hell
dude.
yeah, she is.
The Angela Hill fight, the Karolina Kowalkiewicz fight. Jeez, man, she is a savage. She is an absolute savage. I mean, I compare her a little bit to Zhang. I mean, maybe she doesn't have quite the power Zhang has, but she's really got that technical kickboxing, man. Yeah. This is a rough fight for Claudia. This is a very rough fight for Claudia. I mean, we all thought Angela Hill won that Claudia Gadelha fight, and Jan Zaunon put it on Angela.
Yes, she did.
I mean, it was a very good fight, but she did put it on Angela and won the fight pretty convincingly, in my opinion. So, Claudia, this is a rough fight for you, my girl, but, you got the big balls for taking it because I don't think anyone's wanting to fight Jan Zaunon right now. She is a scary individually. So I'm going Jan Zaunon, third round KO. Dude, I think she finds a way to just pick apart Claudia. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if Claudia maybe snuck a round out, maybe wins a second, maybe gets a good ground takedown, gets her ground and pound going, and, finds a way to grind her out for a few minutes, take control of that. But I just see Jan Zaunon beating her on the feet everywhere. I think she's a superior kickboxer, so I'm going Jan Zaunon, third round KO.
This fight is very intriguing and fascinating to me. I do believe the way that Claudia Gadelha can win this fight is taking her to the mats, grounding her out, pounding. But the thing is, is Jan, she has looked phenomenal in her last couple fights, and her stand up looks just great, man.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
So this is a really hard fight for me to pick, but I think Claudia Gadelha squeaks this one out, man. I got to go 2-3. I think she'll win a split decision, 29-28. I'm going to go Claudia Gadelha decision.
Awesome. That's a great pick. I mean, yeah, you can't be shocked. I mean, I'll give her every advantage on the ground. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think you have to. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt has proven she's got that great submission game and is just a proven vet in this division. I mean, it is so – look at the record alone. 18-4. Yeah. That's very hard to do in this strawweight division.
It is.
I mean –
so many killers, savages.
Savages. I mean, and you're not shocked in all these girls' divisions. You see girls that are in the top 10, top 5 sometimes with these records of like 7-6. Or 8-5 or stuff like that. So it's just like if you're going 20-3, like 20-1, 18-3, something like that in the strawweight division, that's just incredible in itself.
Absolutely.
So she's a freak for a reason, So I would not be shocked if she found a way to win it.
Alrighty,
Mason, we made it. It's time. The end of the show. Shout outs.
Yes, sir. You want to go first or me?
You go first because I just lost my comment.
So my shout out of the week is a fellow YouTuber. He is my cousin. Go check him out. Brock Murray. He does a YouTube prank channel. It is hilarious. I know you guys will love it. Go check him out. Brock Murray. He's almost up to 5,000 subscribers now. He's doing the damn thing.
Oh, damn.
One of his videos blew up. It's a simp patrol. And now look, I'm not with like the new kids and the new age and all these words, but I guess a simp is like a guy who
someone who's nice
picks
to a
over.
woman.
Yeah. Or like picks his girlfriend over hanging out with the boys because Saturdays are for the boys. He's like 21. He's hustling. He's out there doing it. and he's got a great channel. Some of the shit makes me laugh. Go check out one of his videos. He wears these overgrown shoes, and this kid's like 5'3", 5'4", like he's small. But he goes out, he buys these shoes. They're like size 18 shoes, and he goes around, and people are like, damn, dude, you really do have big feet. Like people are just like, believe it. It's some of the funniest shit ever. And he pranks people in Portland and Vancouver.
That one where he went to the mall
funny as hell.
and talked to the guy that was selling the knives
The
and
knives,
shit like
yeah.
that. Like that guy's never watched a fucking YouTube video
channel
in his
in his
entire
life.
life. He
And
was like
you
taking
knew
him,
it, too.
every word he was saying, he was taking 100% serious. That made me fucking laugh.
Yeah, that video was hilarious. So yeah, shout out to Brock Murray.
Yeah, shout out to him. Good for him. All right. So my shout out for the week is to a commenter on our YouTube channel, Reason Over Dogma. Justin had a lot of momentum coming into this fight, but Khabib just happened to show how great he is. Anyways, great preview and great reaction video. Thank you for the kind comment, my man, and thank you for leaving a comment. And also, if you haven't, make sure you go subscribe. Guys, we got to talk about our YouTube channel one last time. Holy shit, we gained over 100 subscribers essentially just this last week.
Yeah.
Let's
Which is
keep
huge
it up
for us. Yeah, let's keep it up,
Let's
guys.
keep it up. Let's get to 300 by next week, guys. Go smash that freaking subscribe button. Show all your friends. Share our content.
Smash it, but don't smash your keyboard or your mouse, because then you'll have to go out and purchase another one. I've never understood why YouTubers say smash the like button. But, you know, it's what the
punch their
trendy
fucking
kids
laptop.
say. Yeah, just fucking punch it.
beat the shit
I
out
will
of it.
smash it, man.
Yeah,
Khabib smash.
I got it. This is totally not relevant at all to any of our shit, but I saw a video on fucking Instagram. It made me laugh so hard. It was the world's first internet physical fight, and it was these two dudes like, so in like foreign language, and then all of a sudden they're just punching the shit out of their phones, and they're both just beating the shit out of their phones. Okay. And I was like, who won? It was the stupidest thing ever,
Right,
but it was
right.
hilarious.
It was funny.
That's essentially Twitter in a nutshell right there.
It is. We had over 100 comments, too, again, on that last YouTube video that we dropped. A lot of you guys loving us, hating us. But either way, like we love the comments. We love the
keep it coming.
engagement. We love the fact that you guys either love us or hate us. So keep it up. Like we love it. Thank you very much.
Call us dirty casuals. Call us pieces of shit. We know all you kebab fans were real fucking angry with us earlier. But you know what?
Again, I'm going to preface this. I was wearing a Khabib shirt. I was rooting for Khabib. Khabib might be my favorite fighter of all time. So the fact that we got so much hate on that video was so surprising to me. Obviously, they didn't listen to the full fight companion because I was literally praising Khabib for like 2 hours on that podcast, but hey, whatever.
Yeah, and I just have to say this about it, guys. You know, I really am. I'm so sorry you guys got so mad. I really am. So we won't talk bad about Khabib ever again. Obviously, I'm joking. Go fuck yourselves. We don't give a shit. All right, Mason.
Wow. Okay.
That's the end of it.
Yes, it is.
Another one. Another fantastic show. So make sure Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at The Church of MMA. Guys, we're posting funny memes. We're trying to make you laugh. Hit us up.
And as we brought up time and time again, check us out on YouTube, guys. Trying to get up to 1,000 subscribers. So please be sure to subscribe there. Again, thank you so much for listening to The Church of MMA podcast. My name is Mason Knight. That is Tabor Cragen.
Peace.